Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Athar Khan with Verdict 2012. First up, a look at the top stories of the day. Campaign first phase polling in Gujarat ends. It's 87 of the 182 constituencies go to polls on Thursday. LK Advani drums up support for BJP on the last day. Rahul Gandhi joins campaign trail hours before curtains come down on the campaign. And Arjun Morwadia and Shakti Singh Gohil of Congress, GBP President Keshubhai Patel and BJP State Chief R.C. Faldu among key candidates. Campaigning for the first phase of Gujarat Assembly elections ended this evening. In the first phase, 87 constituencies spread over 15 districts will go to the polls on the 13th of December.
The din and bustle of election campaign came to an end in 87 constituencies in Saurashtra, South and South Central Gujarat at 5 this evening. Leaders of the main contenders of power, the ruling BJP and Congress, made all-out efforts to woo the voters who will exercise their franchise on Thursday. On Tuesday, election campaign reached a feverish pitch as top leaders and individual candidates tried to make the most of it to reach out to the electorate. Chief Minister Narendra Modi, who is seeking a third consecutive term in office, addressed 9 election rallies. He has been addressing 6 to 7 rallies every day while making his digital presence through 3D holography technology at dozens of places simultaneously. But some of the places where he addressed people are going to polls in the second phase on 17th of December. His 3D presence was made available at 53 places. The opposition Congress also left no stone unturned for the big push in the final days of campaigning. Party General Secretary Rahul Gandhi addressed a string of rallies before the clock struck 5. Among other places, Rahul was in Sanand. He targeted the Narendra Modi government and urged people to bring Congress back in power. Congress President Sonia Gandhi campaigned in 2 phases. On Monday, she addressed 2 rallies. She accused the Modi government of siphoning off central funds. Senior BJP leader LK Advani also addressed a few rallies. From Wednesday, Advani will campaign at places which go to polls in the second phase. BJP's Gujarat Vice President Purushottam Rupala addressed rallies in Saurashtra, while party leader and TV actor Smriti Irani held 2 rallies besides a roadshow in Porbandar. Adding glamour to the campaign, the BJP put several Gujarati film and TV artists to canvass for party candidates. Cricketer turned politician Navjot Singh Sidhu, actor Vivek Oberoi and Kanodia brothers were among others who campaigned for the BJP at different places before curtains came down on campaigning for the first phase. Congress fielded several union ministers, MPs and leaders from other states to campaign in different districts. BSP chief Mayawati also addressed a few rallies. The running theme of campaign was development. While Modi maintained that the state had progressed the most in the last 10 years, the Congress called his claims hollow. Congress leader and Information and Broadcasting Minister Manish Tiwari said on Monday that Modi had favoured crony capitalists while the poor suffered. Among other Congress leaders to campaign were Delhi Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia and Sachin Pilot. Manmohan Singh charged Modi with playing divisive politics, while Sonia targeted the government without ever naming the Chief Minister. Modi had reacted to the comments, saying the Congress is spreading rumours and its top leaders were divorced from Gujarat's ground reality. Modi's arch-rival Keshubhai Patel is also in the poll arena with his own political party, the Gujarat Parivartan Party. Patel has a sizable following in Saurashtra, and this is giving Modi some anxious moments. Analysts say the GPP could play spoiled sport at many places through division of votes. Keshubhai opened the second front against Modi during the campaign. Barring the presence of top leaders, the campaign, though, failed to enthuse voters at many places. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Joining us for more on this story is Rajya Sabha TV correspondent, my colleague and our man in the field, Vishal Dahiya from Bharuch district. He's in Ankleshwar right now. Many thanks, Vishal, for joining us on Verdict 2012. Campaigning for the first phase has ended today, but poll fever still continues. What is the sense you're getting on the ground?
Well, the first phase of campaigning for the campaigning for the first phase of polling to be held on 13th has come to an end, and as was rightly described in our report just a short while ago, there were several leaders from both parties, Congress as well as BJP. Not only the state level leaders, but also central leaders, the star campaigners of both the parties, crisscrossed those areas of the state which are particularly going for the poll on 13th. Although the campaigning by the star campaigners have also taken place in areas which go to poll on 17th, but with the polling, with the campaigning coming to an end for the 87 constituencies which go to poll on 13th, now the focus will be on the rest 95 constituencies as far as political parties are concerned and their star campaigners are concerned. As far as equations and issues, it's very simple this time around that BJP and Narendra Modi, the incumbent chief minister, are trying to go ahead and ensure that the issue of development remains at the core, at the center of this entire election campaign. Congress has been trying its level best to go ahead and counter Modi's claims of ensuring development in the state. And as far as Keshubhai Patel is concerned, obviously he is hell-bent upon and trying very hard to ensure that he ends up being at least a game spoiler for BJP and Narendra Modi, specifically in the Saurashtra region. But we will have to wait and watch as to what exactly happens on 13th. And for that, the results should be out on 20th. But yes, one thing is certain, that the poll fever in the state has not come down even a little bit. Only in those areas, those 87 constituencies where the campaigning has come to an end, we've stopped hearing the sloganeering and speeches on loudspeakers immediately after 5 p.m. Door-to-door campaigning has started by specific candidates as well as other leaders who are present in the area. But then those areas which are going to polls on 17th, specifically 95 constituencies out there, the campaigning for the elections is still on a very high note.
Right, Vishal, please stay with us. I request you to stay with us. We'll take a look at another story. We'll come back to Vishal in just a moment. Several key leaders from major parties are entering the fray for Thursday's first phase of polling in Gujarat. Out of the 87 seats going to polls, there are some seats where all eyes are set on. A look at these constituencies.
The first phase of polling on 13 December will decide the fate of several key players, including Gujarat Congress Chief Arjun Modwadia and Gujarat Parivartan Party President Keshubhai Patel. Chief Minister Narendra Modi's Maninagar constituency goes to polls in the second phase on 17 December. Arjun Modwadia is contesting the elections from Porbandar, the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi. Modwadia has won elections twice from the seat. BJP has fielded former MLA Babu Bokhiria against him. Jayesh Bhatt from GPP is also in the fray. Leader of the opposition in the State Assembly, Shakti Singh Gohil, is contesting from Bhavnagar rural seat. BJP's Purushottam Solanki is contesting against him. Gohil and Solanki had won the 2007 polls from different constituencies. GPP President Keshubhai Patel is contesting from Visavdar. The Congress has not fielded any candidates against him, which has the BJP worried. BJP has fielded State Minister Kanubhai Bhalla from here. From Limdi, BJP has fielded Forest Minister Kirit Singh Jitu Bharana. The Congress has fielded Member of Parliament Sombhai Patel, making it a keen contest. For GPP, Praveen Singh Solanki is the candidate. BJP also has to contend with rebel party workers in this constituency. BJP State Chief R.C. Faldo is contesting from Jamnagar rural seat. His Congress rival is Raghavji Bhai Patel. The two leaders had won the last elections from different seats, but the equations have changed after delimitation. GPP's Pran Jeevan Kundaria has made the contest interesting. GPP's General Secretary Gordhan Zadafia is contesting from Gondal. His rival is NCP's Chandubhai Wagsia. Wagsia had won the last election from this seat. BJP has fielded Jairaj Singh Jadeja from the seat. Gujarat Speaker Ganpat Vaswa is contesting from Mangrol seat. He is pitted against Tejas Chaudhary of the Congress. GPP's Vimlesh Patel is also in the fray. Several other seats could see an interesting electoral battle. Delimitation changed the electoral arithmetic on many seats, forcing sitting MLAs to change their theatre of battle. Several also lost out on getting re-nominated by their party. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Vishal Dahiya is still with us on the phone line from Ankleshwar in Bharuch district of Gujarat. Vishal, if I could come back to you, this particular phase of polling, the first phase of polling, many big names are in the fray. We heard in the report Gordon Zadafia, Keshubhai Patel, Shakti Singh Gohil from the Congress, as well as Arjun Modwadia are all in the first phase of polling when it happens on the 13th of December. What are the other big names that are in the fray, and also which seats will we be watching with the keen interest in this particular phase?
Well, if you look at the big names in Gujarat elections, then it's pretty much clear that most of them are covered in the first phase. If you look at the GPP, the Gujarat Parivartan Party, number 1 and number 2 in the party, that's Keshubhai Patel as well as Gordon Sharapia, both are contesting from seats which are going to polls on 13th. As far as Congress is concerned, both the state president as well as the CLP leader Shakti Singh Gohil and Arjun Modwadia both will be vying for votes on 13th itself in their respective constituencies. The most interesting contest, but in the first phase would be in Bhavnagar district between Arjun Modwadia of the Congress and Purushottam Solanki of the BJP. Now both are senior leaders in their respective parties, and it's going to be really interesting to see as to which one emerges victorious from this electoral battle. Also, if you look at those names which are left for the second phase, then it is definitely Chief Minister Narendra Modi, against whom the Congress Party has fielded the IPS officer's wife, the IPS officer who had come, spoke out in open against Narendra Modi and his role during 2002 riots. Apart from that, the other Congress leaders, there are several other top Congress leaders which will figure in, whose name will figure in the list of those whose constituencies have to go for polling on 17th. But yes, the first phase of polling, a little bit interesting, not only with the names, but also with the fact that most of the part of the sort of region will be covered in this particular phase, and that is something which is really, really crucial for all three parties. BJP, because of the simple fact whether Keshubhai Patel makes a dent or not, and Keshubhai Patel, for obvious reasons, is trying to make a comeback to the state politics by fielding a new party. Congress would definitely, want that BJP get some sort of dent due to GPP, resulting in net benefits to the Congress, political benefit to the Congress. So obviously, all three key players would be keenly watching the first phase of the elections in the state of Gujarat.
Right, Vishal Dahiya, many thanks for joining us on Verdict 2012. That was Vishal Dahiya, our man in the field, reporting from Gujarat, Ankleshwar in Gujarat. We'll take a small break right now on Verdict 2012. There's lots more to come on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Verdict 2012. Now, a total of 1,666 candidates will contest the assembly elections in Gujarat this time. Polling will be held in the state in 2 phases on the 13th and the 17th of December. Counting of votes will be taken up on the 20th of December along with Himachal Pradesh.
The number of candidates contesting Gujarat polls this time is 398, more than the last elections in 2007. The increasing number of candidates could lead to the further division of votes. Additional Chief Electoral Officer Ashok Manak said 846 candidates will contest from 87 constituencies in the first phase. 820 candidates are in the fray from 95 constituencies in the second phase. The first phase of polling will see Saurashtra, South Gujarat and 4 talukas of Western Ahmedabad going to the polls. Kutch, Central Gujarat and North Gujarat will go to the polls in the second phase. The BJP, which is in power in the state for 17 years now, has fielded candidates in all 182 seats, while the main opposition Congress has fielded candidates from 181 seats in alliance with the NCP. Visavadar in Junagadh district is the only constituency from where the Congress NCP alliance has not fielded any candidate. This seat will see a contest between Gujarat Parivartan Party President Keshubhai Patel and sitting BJP MLA Kanubhai Balala. The GPP withdrew its candidate Praveen Patil from Maninagar constituency in support of Congress nominee Shweta Bhatt, wife of suspended IPS officer Sanjeev Bhatt, who will take on Chief Minister Narendra Modi. 6 constituencies in coastal Bhavnagar, Amreli and Surat districts will see a 4-way battle with independent candidates fielded by Sadbhavna Manch headed by rebel BJP MLA Kanubhai Kalsaria. The new outfit has fielded 6 candidates in the polls with Kalsaria contesting from Gadiadhar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
As Gujarat gears up for the first phase of assembly polls on December the 13th, the Election Commission is simultaneously working hard to make voting accessible for a lone voter in the Gir forest. Take a look.
The Election Commission is reaching out to every voter in the state. It has set up a full-fledged polling booth at Banej inside the Gir National Park in Gujarat for the first phase of polling. The temple priest of Banej, Mahant Bharat Das, is the only voter inside the forest and he will be exercising his franchise.
बानेज में जो इनके मंदिर के पुजारी हैं गुरु भरत दास, उनके लिए ही वहाँ पर मतदान केंद्र एक बनाया गया है जो फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट की कचहरी से चलता है और वहाँ पर हमारे ऊना के बमनेदार ऑफिस से लगभग 55 किलोमीटर दूर ये मतदान केंद्र ये जंगल में आता है और वहाँ पर हमारी पोलिंग पार्टी जाती है और वहाँ पर श्री भरत दास भी वहाँ पर वोट कर सकें, उसके लिए हमने सुविधा पूरी प्रदान की है.
The polling station was first marked on the map of Gujarat in 2007 for logistical reasons. This will be the third election in Gujarat when Bharat Das would be casting his vote.
अभी ऐसा गर्व है ना कि आका भारत के अंदर जैसे कि समझो कि प्रधानमंत्री है, राष्ट्रपति है, उनको लाइन में खड़ा रहना मेरे लिए अकेले के लिए जो तो ये इतना बड़ा कीमती वोट है, तो अपनी जनता और भारतीयों को ये भी समझना चाहिए कि भाई अपना वोट कितना कीमती है.
A presiding officer, 2 polling officers, a peon and an armed policeman are assigned at every regular booth and the same staff will be in attendance at the one-room polling station in Banej. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
It's time now to take a look at some other election stories in brief in our segment Paul Puri.
A team of Election Commission raided a diamond factory in Surat. The EC has been informed that a BJP candidate had kept alcohol and saris in the factory for distribution before the elections. Polling is to be held on Thursday. The hilly and forest regions of eastern Gujarat has a lot of tribals. There are 26 seats in this region. The tribal-dominated area accounts for nearly 15% of the state's population. All parties tried to reach out to the tribals during the campaign. In the last election, the votes were evenly divided between Congress and BJP. A fine of ₹51 is imposed on voters from a village in Rajkot district. The tradition was started by villagers to get maximum attendance at polling booths. Only those outside the village on their day on work are exempted from the fine.
Time for another short break on Verdict 2012. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back. Rajya Sabha TV correspondent Arvind Singh caught up with students of Vadodara University on their take on the elections and their issues. Take a look.
नमस्कार, राज्य सभा टीवी में आपका स्वागत है. हम यहाँ हैं वडोदरा में एमएस विश्वविद्यालय के परिसर में और पश्चिम भारत के इस सबसे महत्वपूर्ण विश्वविद्यालय के छात्रों से हम जानेंगे कि वो चुनाव के मुद्दों पर क्या बोलते हैं, क्या समझते हैं और क्या क्या मुद्दे हैं जो युवा वर्ग के वो चुनाव में वो शामिल हो पाए हैं या नहीं. नालंदा, क्या ये जो युवाओं को जो रिझाने की कोशिश हो रही है कि वो पोलिंग बूथ तक जाएं, क्या कुछ इसका असर दिख रहा है आपको?
हाँ, असर मुझे ज़रूर दिख रहा है क्योंकि मैंने हमेशा मेरी फ्रेंड से भी बात की है और जब भी मैं क्लास आती हूँ हमारे बीच यही राजनीतिक डिस्कशन चर्चाएं कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो रही हैं. लोग कह रहे हैं कि जो भी कांग्रेस ये बैनर्स लगा रही है हर चौगड्डे पे कि प्रश्न पूछना चाहिए आम आदमी को गवर्नमेंट से, सरकार से पूछना चाहिए कि क्या वो आम आदमी को ये चीज़ प्रोवाइड कर रही है या नहीं. तो हम लोग क्लास में यही डिस्कस करते रहते हैं कि सच में बीजेपी ने कुछ प्रोवाइड किया है या फिर कांग्रेस ने किया है.
अच्छा आर्य जी, हम आपसे जानेंगे कि क्या आप क्या सोच रहे हैं
जी? जैसे इन्होंने बात की भक्ति ने कि इलेक्शंस का इस बार जो कैंपेनिंग हो रहा है वो हर बार से ज़्यादा ही हो रहा है और वो एक्चुअली में दिख रहा है, क्योंकि जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि हमारे दोस्तों के बीच में बात हो रहा है जो यूजुअली नहीं होता है। एक अगर दो यूथ्स मिलेंगे तो वो लोग बात करेंगे कि हम पिक्चर देखने जाते हैं, ये जा रहे हैं वो जा रहे हैं, लेकिन कैंपेनिंग और इलेक्शंस का इस बार इतना प्रभाव है, इतना चर्चा है कि हम लोग भी उसी के बारे में रोज़ एक बार तो बात करते ही है। उम्र हो चुकी है, वी हैव द राइट टू वोट, डेमोक्रेसी है तो वोट तो करना ही है।
अच्छा पूर्णिमा जी, आप क्या कहेंगी?
सर मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी लाजमी है कि आजकल इतना ज़्यादा आरोप और प्रत्यारोपण जो कांग्रेस और बीजेपी एक दूसरे को करे जा रहे हैं, उसका असर विभिन्न कारणों से हमारे कॉलेज, न सिर्फ हमारे कॉलेज, हमारे राज्य सब पर दिख रहा है। बट ये चीज़ ज़्यादा दिख रही है कि एक दूसरे को द्वेष है, एक दूसरे को आरोपों से घेरा जा रहा है और एक हेल्दी पॉलिटिक्स कैंपेन नहीं हो रहा है, एक हेल्दी लेवल पे कंपटीशन नहीं चल रहा है।
और अगर कैंपेन की बात करें हम लोग, तो मुझे सिर्फ इतना कहना है कि कैंपेन तो बहुत ज़ोरों शोरों से हो रहा है, क्योंकि अभी अगर हम लोग यूथ यंगस्टर्स ले तो हम लोग का ज़्यादातर इंटरनेट में टाइम चला जाता है। तो वहाँ पे भी यूट्यूब में अगर आप देखें तो यूट्यूब से पहले जो एडवर्टाइज़ आती है वहाँ पे भी बीजेपी या कांग्रेस की एडवर्टाइज़ वो लोग बताते हैं।
बेसिक जो इशूज़ हैं यूथ के, क्या वो जो राजनीतिक दल हैं उनके एजेंडे में आ पा रहे हैं या नहीं आ पा रहे हैं, या जो युवाओं में जो अभी वोटिंग के प्रति जो एक हताशा रही है, उसके क्या कारण आपके हिसाब से क्या नज़र आता है?
जो भी यंगस्टर्स हैं उनके जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स है वो पूरी तरह से कवर नहीं होते हैं। कई जगहों पे ऐसा होता है, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में, बड़ी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, लेकिन वो मामला ऊपर से दबा दिया जाता है। उसको रूट्स पे जाके उस पे कड़ी कोई नज़र नहीं रखी जाती है। तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि चाहे कोई भी सरकार आए, चाहे कांग्रेस आए या बीजेपी आए, मैं चाहती हूँ कि वो यूनिवर्सिटी, स्कूल या फिर कॉलेज लेवल के किसी भी छात्र या फिर टीचर्स, प्रोफेसर्स के लेवल पे, हाँ, एजेंडे पे लेना चाहिए।
कोई भी सरकार आती है पर एज ए यंगस्टर एक यंगस्टर ये सोचता है कि मुझे क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा। फ़र्क तो उसे पड़ता है पर वो सोचता नहीं है कि उसे किस तरह से फ़र्क पड़ता है। डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली फ़र्क दोनों को पड़ता है, पर वो ये सोचेगा मुझे जाके क्या, दूसरे जा रहे वोट करेंगे, जो जीतेगा भी। बात ये हो जाती है यहाँ पे कि जब तक हम पे बात नहीं आती तब तक हम सोचते नहीं है कि वोट करें। लेकिन बात यही है कि अगर डेमोक्रेसी है, हमें राइट दिया गया है वोट करने का, ठीक है, आपको ये पार्टी नहीं पसंद, दोनों पार्टी नहीं पसंद, तो वहाँ जाइए, एटलीस्ट फॉर्म भरिए जिसमें लिखा होता है कि मुझे कोई भी पार्टी नहीं पसंद, पर एटलीस्ट आप जाइए, अटेंडेंस भरिए वहाँ की वोटिंग के लिए, तो वो बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है।
कोई भी पार्टी हो, चाहे वो भाजपा हो या कांग्रेस हो, वो चीज़ ये ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए, अगर सिर्फ युवा वर्ग जो हमारे राज्य में है उनके बारे में सोचना हो तो उनके मौखिक मुद्दे क्या हैं, रोज़गार हैं, और जो विकास होता है वो सिर्फ मौखिक रूप पे नहीं होना चाहिए। जो अगर वो बोलते हैं, जैसे घर स्कीम का जो बात हुई है, तो वो एक प्रैक्टिकल लेवल पे भी उसे इम्प्लाई करना चाहिए।
देश को चलाने के लिए कुछ ऐसे पार्टी को आना चाहिए जो एकदम स्टेबल हो, जो ये मुद्दों को एजेंडे में ले और उस पर काम करे।
कि जो स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी है, यूथ कम्युनिटी है, उसके बेसिक इशूज़ क्या क्या हैं, और क्या वो इस बार जो चुनाव हो रहा है उसमें कहीं वो नज़र आ रहे हैं? वो
स्टूडेंट्स के बेसिक मुद्दे तो मेरे हिसाब से यही होंगे कि यहाँ एजुकेशन लेवल पे, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ पे, स्कूल्स पे काफ़ी सारे चेंजेस आते हैं। इतने सारे चेंजेस जो बीच के जो गैप होता है कि हर 6 महीने में एक चेंज आता है कि अब आपको ये एग्ज़ाम नहीं वो देने, जैसे अभी 12वीं के सेमेस्टर्स हो गए हैं, तो उसके बाद भी जो पहले गुजकेट की एग्ज़ाम दी जाती थी तो अभी उसकी कोई और एग्ज़ाम कर दी है। तो मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि स्टूडेंट्स को इतना सारा ऊपर से लोड और प्रेशर कर दिया जाता है कि एक स्टूडेंट जो 12वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता है वो कंफ्यूज हो जाता है।
मेरा ये मानना है कि जो राइट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन एक्ट है वो हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी में भी लागू होना चाहिए, इन द सेंस कि जो यूजीसी जो पैसा देती है हमारे फैकल्टी को आगे और प्रमोट करने के लिए, उसकी फैसिलिटीज़ को बढ़ाने के लिए, वो बच्चों को भी, मतलब स्टूडेंट्स, हाँ जी, कि किस तरीके से कहाँ पर कितना पैसा जा रहा है, तो ये चीज़ एक बुनियादी लेवल पे एक ट्रांसपेरेंसी शुड बी देयर। तो वो हमें एक एश्योरेंस मिलना चाहिए, जो कि पार्टी जो भाजपा है, जो कांग्रेस है, इन सबको मुद्दों को आगे बढ़ाती है और फिर ये एलिगेशन लगाती है कि हमने इतने रोज़गार दिए, इतने रोज़गार हम देने वाले हैं, वो सारे सच होने चाहिए।
कॉलेज में देखने जाए तो कोई बंदा अगर अमीर हो तो वो पैसे भर के एडमिशन ले लेगा, पर कोई गरीब अगर वो अच्छे से टैलेंटेड भी हो, सीरियस होशियार हो, तो भी उसको एडमिशन नहीं मिलता जस्ट बिकॉज कि उसके पास पैसे नहीं होते। तो ये मैं एक पॉइंट करना चाहूँगी कि ये इस पे कुछ करना चाहिए।
And that's all we have on Verdict 2012 today. Till next time, goodbye.